Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you know, I'm Stephanie. Today I am doing a very exciting video because I am gonna do a video based on my favorite forbidden taboo romance author ever, which is QB Tyler. I love her so much. I have pretty much all her books. I read all of them with the exception, I think, of two, but I wanted to talk about my favorite books and in general all her books. So if you've never read QB Tyler, this video is for you because you should, and only please watch this if you like forbidden and taboo books. If you don't like that age gap, you don't like that, get out of the video because this is not for you. And at the end of the day, it's fiction, and if you love this, good for you. Yeah, let's get into the video. If you have read QB Tyler and you love her like me, let me know down below. Like this video, comment as I mentioned, and subscribe for more videos because there's more coming just like this. Recommended author. I have two specific books that you should start with. I'll quickly mention it now, but later on in the video you'll see the full extent. If you're new to her, either you're gonna read Keep Her Safe or you're gonna read Forget Me Not. This one is Marriage in Trouble, Amnesia Trope. This one is a bodyguard romance. She is a celebrity and he is her bodyguard. If you don't know where to start with QB's books, this is one of them. But I do think this is the best book to start with QB Tyler if you're not into necessarily taboo romance. But even if you are interested in reading all her books, I think this is the best just because it's the lightest book of hers out there. So we have this one. As you can see behind me, I have favorite books by her displayed. I will say that I recently switched my books backwards, all the books I have read, so that's why it's this way. But let's first talk with the ones that are displayed, which are my favorite books. We're gonna start with number one. This is Unconditional. This book right here is probably her most taboo forbidden book ever. It's the first one I read by her, and that's what made me love it. I've never read a book that was this taboo, that was this perfect. It was honestly so good, and a lot of people kind of stay away from this book, but it's Unconditional. Like, this is my second favorite book of all time. So our main characters are Kyle and Maddie. He is her guardian and she is obviously his ward. Maddie had a very traumatic event happen in her life when she's 7 years old. She loses her parent. He is the police officer that gets there, and he pretty much becomes her everything in that moment because he saves her. And at one point she ends up living with him, and we see a couple moments when he like takes care of her. It's a few moments, but then we jump to when she's 17 years old, turning 18, and things are just completely different. Within the last year, Cal has noticed how different she is, and Maddie has always been in love with him. She's always seen him as her superhero. That's literally what she calls him, and it's their romance. I think the story was so beautiful. The way it's written, you could just tell, and this just came out in Audible, and this literally took my audio cherry, because I had never listened to an audiobook, and it was so good. When she's 17, I think he's 33 years old. There's also a nice plot going on in here, but I can't get into that. But Unconditionals first. So we have What Was Meant to Be. I would say this is my second favorite book. I have so many favorites. Dad's Best Friend, my favorite trope ever, and it's also got a parent. We have JP, Jacob Price, and then we have Whitney. So pretty much the one thing I will have to complain about this book, and I'll say it right now, is that it's a second chance romance, and I just wish we would have gotten more of the very beginning of the relationship. So one day, I think she is 18 already, or she's in like her first year of college. She comes home, he's there, because he stayed over, because they're literally, her parents are best friends with him, and she starts flirting with him, and he's kind of like, what the hell are you doing? And she pretty much just says she's always had a crush on him, and they start a relationship. You see a couple moments of them at the very beginning of the relationship, but then it jumps to the present, and the present is that she is engaged to someone else, and he gets a letter where he's invited to the wedding, and he automatically jumps on a plane and goes back to their hometown, and he's like, you are not marrying anyone, like it's always been me and you. So the reason for the second chance is because at one point it got too hard in the relationship to keep it a secret from her parents, and he made the decision to pretty much end it. So it's their second chance romance, and it was just so good. I love JP, I love Whitney, and it has a lot of spice moments. Always Been You. It's also Taboo, Forbidden. So this is step siblings, or if you want to be more specific, adoptive step siblings. We have James, our hero, and we also have Gabrielle. So in this story, if I'm correct, Gabrielle is adopted into this family at a very, very young age. So she's grown up her whole time there, but there is an age gap. So by the time I think she was like 7 years old, or around, or like a couple years older than that, somewhere in that age range, he was already out the house. Like he was in college, he was living his life, and it's until when she's in college that they live in the same town, and one day they're like, right before I think winter break, they're hanging out, and she's always had like this crush on him, like she loves him, and he's always been very caring of her. He does have another biological sister, but his relationship with her is very, very different from his relationship with his sister. And pretty much that same day, like things get weird, and he's like, did I do something? And she's just like, no, and she's trying to push him away. Things finally happen, and they go back home for winter break, and let's just say things get very spicy, things happen, and it's their romance between them. It was a really good book. I think the only reason it's not like my top favorite, the fact that she rushed the book towards the end. And keep in mind, this was a novella before it became a full book, but the ending is just very quick. And this is, I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but pretty much at the end where like they're telling their parents, it skips, and that's the one thing I don't like. It's like he tells their parents, and then it happens really quick, and then it's just like 2 years later or something like that. Wish we saw more of the confrontation, more of that whole situation. I don't have it physically because, I kid you not, I cannot decide which cover to get. I will say this, and I'm sorry QB if you're watching this, I hate couple covers. I just don't like them at all. It's just a big no for me, and I think this cover is pretty, but I do not want to own this cover. But the discreet cover is extremely stunning. The only issue is that I like paperbacks. I hate hardcovers, but obviously I have the hardcovers display. I do have the physical paperbacks of these, which are completely annotated and tabbed. I even have them on display up there on my favorite Forbidden Taboo bookshelf, but these are in display because they're the hardcovers. So the point is, I don't know which one to get, because realistically I'll read the paperback more, but I want the hardcover. But this book right here recently came out. This is Best Friend's Dad. Oh my god, it was so good. I got an arc for it, and I was not expecting that, but it was the best thing I ever got in. He's an ex-NFL player, but that doesn't really play a huge part of it. Best Friend's Dad, it's also her neighbor, and there's a lot of sneaking around. It was just so good. Pretty much we have Theo, and then we have Avery. Avery and her best friend, who is a guy, have been close ever since he moved to the house next to her. He also has always kind of had feelings for her. So that's another thing that plays part in this book, where it's just like, my son has feelings for you, but I want you. It was just so good. But I think it was so good because the best friend never annoyed me, and it's the fact that he's a guy. I feel like I kind of refuse to read romances best friend's dad if it's a female, because I always feel weird about the fact that like he is gonna get in between their friendship, and at the end of the day, like, she becomes a stepmom to her best friend. In this book, it didn't feel weird at all, especially because I think Theo's son was honestly amazing. The way everything just kind of happened, it worked out for me. That's another reason why I love QB, is because even though her books are very controversial and what happens is very much like, what the hell, like, she never makes it a huge thing. Like, I hate when books become like a huge thing where it's just like we can't be together. Like, in her books you'll never find a hero that will be like, you know what, this is too hard, this is too forbidden, we cannot be together. The age gap, like, I can't do this. The heroes in all her books fight for their girl, and that's one of the reasons I love it. But this book was so good. It was very spicy as well. It takes place when she's a little bit older. She's right out of college and she's moved back home, and they just kind of start their relationship. Now, one of the things I did not like about this book, once again, I wish we had more backstory. It's mentioned at the very beginning of the book that they had one kiss one summer, I think, and then it's mentioned like for the spring semester when she comes back they had like a hookup, and then we're in the present time where like she's officially done with college. And my thing is just like, wait, how did you get to the first kiss? Like, I just want to know these little details. Love Unexpected, probably my least favorite book from hers for one specific reason, and I think it just comes down to preference. I know a lot of people love this book. My biggest thing is that he was married to her mom. That's not necessarily like a huge thing. It's the fact that before her mom he had another wife and he deeply loved that woman, but she died. And then he got married to her mom and he deeply loved the mom. There was like never no issue between them. It's just the fact that the mom died. And I think that's my biggest issue in this book. It's mainly the romance where they're both grieving and they kind of stick to each other, and that's the romance. That's fine. It's just she also had a beautiful relationship with her mom, and that's what I can't get past. It's just like, I get it, like you were both grieving and you got together, but it's just the fact you loved her mom. So to me it just feels like he got with her kind of like a replacement for the mom. To me it felt that way. I do still think it was very spicy. It was really good. Also, I think he is the weakest male character QB has written, because there's a conflict in here in this book where like someone kind of finds out about their relationship and he kind of runs off. And to me, I was just like, this does not appear like any of the other QB books I've read where the hero fights for the girl, not caring who knows or who finds out or any of it. And the fact that he ran away, I was just like, no thank you. But yeah, this is Dominic and Stassi. I very much like Stassi. He's also her principal. I forgot to mention that. I read a lot of other stepdad romances or mom's ex-boyfriend or mom's boyfriend where it was just kind of like a transactional thing between the mom and him, or it was something, but it was never love. And I love those books because at the end of the day it's just like you were together for the wrong reasons. This one, he loved her, so there's that. This one is one of the books that I love and hate at the same time. This is Forget Me Not, and this one is not actually taboo or forbidden. This is A Marriage in Trouble, sort of. So he has amnesia. All we really know is that he broke her heart, and we get into what he exactly did, which it's kind of like a known thing. He cheated on her, and at the very beginning of the book he has amnesia because he got in a car accident, and she obviously gets called because they're still in their emergency contact, and he wakes up and he's like, why are you over there? Like I'm okay baby, like come over here. And she's just kind of like, me and you are broken up. And he is just devastated. He's just like, what do you mean? Like I fucking love you, like you love me, like no, like what do you mean we're getting a divorce? Like that's not okay. It was just so beautiful. At one point he obviously recovers his memory and he remembers what he did, and he's trying to win her back. Now the reason I love and hate this book is because, oh my god, I love them, Olivia and Bennett, and their romance is so beautiful. The way he like loves her, it's just, I loved it. But at the same time I hate it because I hate cheating, and I just could never get behind cheating. Like if you cheat, you just don't respect someone and you don't love them. So that's why I hate it and I love it. Like I love these two characters, I love their romance, but at the same time I hate that he cheated on her. Okay, next we have two novellas. I have first semester. It's under 200 pages. It's 170, based kind of in college, as you can tell. First semester, this is a professor and student relationship. They have like one night hookup, and then she wakes up and goes to class, and he's her professor. It was just really good. It was spicy. I think I gave it 5 stars because it was just quick, but it was good, and I loved it. Between Aiden and Skylar, and I just loved it. It was so good. Now Skylar has a sister, and we have second semester. This is her book. As you can see, all these books are tabbed. This one, 190 pages. Serena and Landon, we actually hear about them in another book, but I remember like immediately when I heard it, I was just like, wait, this sounds interesting. And then she wrote her story. This is Dad's best friend and Dad's business partner. So they have a company. It's an internship in the company, and it's an office romance. It was just so good. It was spicy. It was everything, and you must read it as well. We have Keep Her Safe. You see this discreet cover we love. So this is a forbidden book. I hate saying it's forbidden, and it's actually my least favorite. Not my least. Love Unexpected is my least favorite by her. This one is probably my second least favorite for her because it just wasn't taboo, and I'm so used to her very forbidden taboo books. This one is a bodyguard romance, and it was good. It just wasn't all that to me. It just felt like any other romance. So we have Shay. Damien. Shay is like this celebrity. Damien has always been her bodyguard after her parents died, so he's always been with her. She's been in a relationship with this guy for the past 3 years, I think, and then she finds out that he's been cheating on her, and he breaks up with her, and then it's the romance between him and her. It's a bodyguard romance, so that's why it's not my favorite. And that is it for all my QB Tyler books. The only 2 I haven't read, one is a duet, so technically 2 books. That is A Marriage in Trouble. It's a marriage counselor and his clientele. I tried it. I tried reading it. The only issue I had with it is that, once again, QB skipped a lot of the important things. I feel like we got the beginning of how they met, because obviously she's married and they're in the office, and then it like says 2 months later and they're literally already into the relationship, and I didn't love that. I wanted to know how they even got there, and I think I didn't like the girl at all because she was just so dependent on her husband, and I just wanted to be like, is this not a relationship between you and the marriage counselor? Like, leave your husband, like stop cheating and leave him. So there's that one. There's another novella like this. It's called Spring Semester, and that one, I think it's best friends with benefits, and she gets pregnant, and I hate pregnancy tropes, so I have not read it as well. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like, comment down below which QB book is your favorite, and subscribe, and until next time.